Welcome to the first of a series of updates from Bedford County Public Schools about our school closure. I'd like to spend some time today talking to you about three topics that are on everybody's minds following the school closures from several weeks ago. The first is our civic responsibility and how we respond to the orders by the President, the Governor, and our local authorities. The second is to talk about our meal delivery options for our community. And the third is to talk about learning and how it can continue during the closure and even beyond. So the first thing I want to say is, as citizens of Bedford County, as citizens of Virginia, and as citizens of the United States, I believe first and foremost, it's all of our responsibilities to follow the guidance we've been given from our federal, state, and local authorities. That means staying at home, washing your hands, practicing social distancing, and avoiding gatherings larger than 10. We know this is very difficult for all of us, and I'm asking you to join us in helping our community take on this effort. You know, when you think about it, supporting the executive order from the governor and the other restrictions that have been placed on us, these things are very difficult for us as citizens. We don't have the opportunities that we've had normally to go and do the things that we're used to doing. But the way I'd like to think about it is, if you read the reports, and they're pretty grim, there are people dying every day from COVID-19. And I think by following the directions of our local, state, and federal officials, we can join together and save as many people as possible. So I'm asking you to do that. The second thing I want to talk about is our meal delivery program. You know, closing schools is something that the governor did, and we're all abiding by his order. But one of the downsides of doing that is we have a number of families who depend on our schools day in and day out to provide lunches and breakfasts to our young folks that attend school. And that hasn't been available during the closure. And so I want to remind everyone who doesn't know that we are currently offering two services to do the meal delivery. One is we have 9 school sites that are passing out breakfast and lunches daily, Monday through Friday, from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. And the second is we are running routes along our elementary bus routes and delivering meals to households each and every day. Now, the details of this are too many for me to describe in this video. So instead, I would refer you to our Bedford County Public Schools website, where all of the details about the 9 schools are listed, and also the approximate drop-off times at the bus stops. The last thing I want to talk to you about is our continuity of learning. And the first group I'd like to address is the class of 2020, our seniors. I have to say that even though my heart goes out to all of our students, it's the seniors that I feel the worst for during this closure. The last part of your senior year should be an enjoyable and memorable time, and that's been taken from you, and I'm sorry about that. The governor is sorry too. He realizes that in caring for the public health, there are going to be some sacrifices, and this is one of them. So the first thing I want to say again is that I am sorry about what has happened to the last part of your senior year. And I know this means that things like proms and graduations and other celebratory events just aren't happening right now. And I know how hard that is. And what we're going to do next week, if you tune in, is dedicate our show to the class of 2020. So we hope that you'll join us for that. The other thing I want to let seniors know is to reassure you that when the governor closed schools, he did understand how this would put some of you in awkward situations with your plans after graduation was scheduled for May 30th. And so with that, basically, everyone in the class of 2020 who is on track to graduate will be awarded a diploma. And I'm happy to be able to reassure you in that. We also have a handful of seniors who weren't quite there yet on their graduation requirements. And I'm happy to inform you that you'll still have time, as you would have if school was still in session, to work towards your graduation requirements and hopefully complete them by the time that graduation would have occurred. The next group I want to talk to are the non-seniors, basically anyone from kindergarten through 11th grade and your families. Our challenge now is to continue the learning that had started back in the fall and do the best job that we can to prepare you to come back next fall, in the fall of 2020, assuming that we're allowed to come back into school. Now, this is going to look different for every young learner that we support, because each of you are in a different place in your learning, and each of you have different teachers that were in different places in their teaching. And so no later than Monday, April 6th, you're going to hear from your teachers and others at your school about what the plan for offering opportunities for continuing your learning will be for the next several weeks until the school year would have ended. A lot of that will be internet-based, and for those of you that have internet connections, and for those that don't, we're going to offer alternatives that you can consider if they work for your current situation. We also fully recognize that many of you will not have any opportunities to continue your learning in the weeks ahead, and we're going to make plans to help you out through extended summer sessions, again, assuming that we're allowed to open our schools in the summer, and also looking at what we may do differently at the start of the school year in the fall, and maybe even continuing into the summer of 2021. I don't have any concrete plans to share at this point, but I want to let you know that our teams are working hard to think and plan about those events. I also want to say a big thank you to all of our teachers and other staff who have worked so hard to make the meal delivery and the continuity of learning possible. This is uncharted territory for us here in Bedford County Public Schools, and we are so grateful that people have stepped up without a roadmap, without a policy, without a guideline to tell them exactly how we're going to do this. They're simply trying to meet the needs of each individual student, where they are and what they need moving forward. I'm also thankful that our board and our staff a couple of years ago had the foresight to initiate a one-to-one initiative with Chromebooks. So right now, all of our students in grades 6 through 12 have Chromebooks that they can use to support their learning. And this is going to help us greatly over the next several weeks and months. We also required 2 years ago for all of our teachers and instructional staff to earn what's called Google Level 1 certification. And at the time, that was something that a lot of folks didn't necessarily support or see the need for that certification. Well, I'm pleased that we did that because in these circumstances, we now know that more of our teachers are prepared to support learning in a personalized way than ever before. The last thing I want to talk about before we end is what may or may not happen with graduation for the class of 2020. At this point, I have to tell you, we have not canceled our graduation ceremonies that are scheduled for May 30th, but I think we all have to be realistic about the fact that Governor Northam's order went through June 10th. And so if that order does not become rescinded or altered, we obviously are going to have to rethink how we do graduation, where we do graduation, and when we do graduation. So again, I don't have any specific information to share about graduation. Seniors, I just want you to know we're thinking of you, and we're going to find a way to celebrate this amazing achievement in your academic careers. So then I want to just end by saying, I hope you will all stay in tune with what's going on here in our community. The county has a broadcast that comes out every Friday from the county administrator, Mr. Hiss. I hope you'll tune in and find out the things that he is doing with his team to support community efforts to combat COVID-19. And I hope you'll tune in next Thursday at 3 p.m. for our broadcast when, again, our focus is going to be the class of 2020. You don't want to miss it. Please be safe, and thank you for joining.